Yes,
Good.
I just realized the live button
Yeah.
went on. Thank you. Excuse me, Joe Nguyen. What you call it? I'm here with Joe Nguyen of Washington. What you call it? We are on the Collective Social Network live. We're talking to progressive grassroots candidates, pushing on our progressive policy platform that we talk a lot about on our social media channels. Joe Nguyen is a current state senator of Washington. He's running for Cook County Executive Chair
King,
against
yeah,
the
King County Executive.
King
Yep.
County. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Freudian slip here.
No.
King County County Chair in Washington, where the main seat of King County is Seattle, Washington. You're a lifelong Seattle resident, is my understanding, and
Yep.
at 37 years old, one of the most progressive members of of our state, the state Senate.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you coming on and also just running for this very important seat. Counties are seats that we really haven't had a lot of candidates run for, whether it's commissioner or the executive chair, which call in this case. Oh, do you want to speak to why you thought this was the right chair
Yeah.
to run for?
Yeah. First off, thank you. And look, King County is the 12th largest county in the United States, bigger than 14 states. So bigger than 14 states. And what I've noticed in my time in the legislature is that we're able to allocate money and allocate resources and policies as much as we want, but they have to be implemented at the local level. So where I saw the rubber meeting the road, where our communities were being ignored, was at the county level. So nothing, I'm not going to say anything derogatory towards my opponent, but he is a 12-year incumbent. He's been in office for 25 years. I don't take corporate PAC money during this campaign because I believe that our priorities should be on the community and the people that we're trying to serve. So for me, it's about fighting with a fierce urgency to get things done. And for so long, our communities have been ignored. So issues like affordability, income inequality, homelessness, climate change, all those things have an intersection at the county. And it's time for leadership to reflect what the future of this democracy should look like and will actually fight to create change.
Really appreciate that clarity and vision. It is my understanding that King County spends about 73% of its funding
Yeah,
on jails, law enforcement, and court systems.
yeah,
Redirecting that seems like it'll be a challenge. But
yeah.
did you want to speak to how you plan to do that, and what would you prioritize?
Yeah, definitely. So oftentimes in politics, we are very reactive instead of proactive. And I would say a lot of the issues that we're facing is because of leadership that has lacked a vision of people with lived experiences. So what's ended up happening was that we used to spend as a society the same amount of money on social services and basic needs as we did on our legal system, the same. But because of the failed war on drugs, because of tough on crime laws that were wrong, we now spend 73% in King County on the legal system. So instead of trying to tackle the root causes of a lot of these issues, which is oftentimes poverty, we simply criminalized it. So for me, if we were able to shift that spending, that $1.8 billion in every single budget cycle towards actually investing in people, in our youth, in education, in healthcare, in childcare, and all these things that we know we need, we can change the outcomes so that people aren't put in these positions in the first place. So instead of just putting in band-aids and spending all this money after the fact, if we're able to help people before they get into trouble, you can alleviate so much of of the systemic issues that our system is facing.
That's great to hear. The way you're speaking is a lot of the ways that we saw a lot of progressive Democratic candidates speak during the Trump years.
Yeah,
But well, those years are behind us now,
yeah,
and the Democratic Party seems like it's in a bit of a flux and a bit lost in the desert right now, trying to find what they're going to run on in 2022. Now, you've ran as a Democrat in state senate, you ran as a Democrat here.
yeah.
Do you still think there's an appetite for Democrat voters for the progressive policy platform that you're speaking to right now?
Oh, absolutely. And you're seeing Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal leading the way. She's my congresswoman here in Washington State, influencing the conversations as well. The fact that we're even talking about, getting rid of the student debt, talking about increases in investments in infrastructure, talking about alleviating poverty, that is a function of the progressive movement. So I believe that the work is working and that the message is actually spreading. And the fact that we have these leaders now in these positions pushing on these issues is why it is top of mind for the Biden administration. So I do think that it's a winning strategy. We may need to refine in terms of we need to ensure that we have good governance, that we're actually serving the people who need help the most. But the issues that we're talking about, the values that we're talking about, definitely are still important for the people out there, because we're seeing it happening, starting to happen in DC. Even when we're, controlled, the Democratic Party controls the House and the Senate and the president's office as well. So I do think that it is a message that still works.
Well, we're definitely rooting for you here at the Collective Social Network Live. Where can our viewers learn more about your platform, about your race, and how can they get involved to help you win?
Yeah, we're very active online. Come visit us at Meet Joe Nguyen, nguyen.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and otherwise as well. But as a campaign that doesn't take corporate PAC money, we are powered by people, and we're certainly grassroots. In my last campaign, we were outspent 5-1 because the other candidate did take corporate PAC money and was part of the political establishment, yet we still won. So I want to not just win this seat, but I want to fundamentally change how we view our elected officials and how politics should work. So if you want to invest in the future, what a democracy could look like, please get involved.